Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this is another video where I just want to have a conversation piece with my audience. And I wanted to give it some time, but today I want to talk about this Shannon Sharpe debacle and what led up to it. How does it make Shannon Sharpe look, let alone the young lady that's involved in it, and how that situation even created itself and took place. And now it's got Shannon Sharpe in a scenario where he is being character assassinated to death, which in many ways, to me, in today's time with social media, with different folks having different channels, with the way the news media has transformed itself, being character assassinated in the public, to me, can be worse than being convicted of a crime and going to jail. Character assassination or a stain on your character could last forever. So what do we think about this 56-year-old man with a 21-year-old woman? He met her when she was 19. He was 54 at a gym. You have race play, black male, big guy, small petite white woman. There's an age gap. There's an economic gap. She's supposed to be an OnlyFans model, part-time or full-time. And then, of course, Shannon Sharpe is an ex-NFL player, Hall of Famer, and then has ventured off into the podcast world. How did he decide? How did he decide that this was an individual that he should take in his personal space and develop a relationship with this woman? There's so many gaps between the two. What was going on in Shannon Sharpe's mind? There's an economic disparity that is so great, you would think that Shannon would have been slightly nervous about even engaging in this, let alone the age gap, let alone that Shannon Sharpe is an ex-NFL player who played over 10 years, 12, 14 years, and has been around groupies, women that just wanted him for his fame and fortune. This is nothing new, let alone if you go back to college. I think he went to Savannah State or somewhere. So Shannon Sharpe has had a name, or has created a name for himself since he was 19, 20, 21 years old. And even if he wasn't that popular in college, he had a brother, Sterling Sharpe, who is an NFL great. So the family name carried some weight. So what in the world could Shannon Sharpe have been thinking? And me and Shannon Sharpe are the same age. There is no way on God's green earth that I would, especially if I had $50 million, $100 million, intellectually, maturity-wise, that I or someone like him should engage in any kind of personal relationship with this woman. They meet at a gym under that auspices. How many people get married from the gym? How many people, if you're a gym rat, if you're in a serious profession, in business, physician, lawyer, you don't have time to spend 3 and 4 hours in a gym. You're in and out within 50 minutes to an hour, and you probably don't have time to engage with somebody and start getting to know them. And I know the gym has turned into a dating site or a dating place, but just look at the optics of it all. A true mature adult and a professional. And of course, Shannon's been professional on several levels, as a professional athlete, as a professional sports commentator, and a podcaster. One, he probably should have a gym in his house, number one. Number two, if he is going to a public gym, is get in and get out. Generally have somebody with you that can keep people away from you, especially if you're in a place like LA or New York or a big city, Chicago, where you name recognition and facial recognition, people are going to keep bothering you while you're trying to work out. Sounds like he turned the gym workout into a social setting where he met this young lady at. Then when you get to, he supposedly was going to have this $100 million deal. There's speculation on that. That should have made Shannon even more nervous on who he is spending his personal time with, male or female. If you're garnering those kinds of salaries, which he's been accustomed to for a while, you don't have time for a lot of silliness. You got to make sure your business manager, your lawyer, your accountant is not stealing from you. You got to make sure that the network, ESPN, your podcasting companies, the advertisers are all doing the right thing. You have a lot to worry about and to take care of. So when you bring somebody into your personal space, especially a female, you definitely don't want her to be an added distraction. And then when you get to the phone calls, you got this age gap. And if you listen to the phone call, she doesn't sound like a young lady who has a lot of depth. Well, how could she if she's 19 or 21 years old? I mean, her brain is not fully developed. Is she college educated? Has she done some of the traditional things that would nurture your intellectual capabilities, your maturity, your spiritual space? She sounded like a very naive and probably a little streetwise person. And LA is expensive. People are trying to find secondary and tertiary ways to have income in order to pay the rent. And if she's an OnlyFans individual, I don't know how much she's making with that, but it sounds like her life is mostly about the hustle. Shannon Sharpe should have recognized that right away. This is nothing new. He's not new to this. He should be true to this. He's been dealing, as I said, since his NFL times. He's been dealing with women that just wanted to be with him because of his name and facial recognition. How does he not understand that? He's been dealing with this for not 40 years, but maybe let's say 30 years, 35 years, since he was 21. And how do you let your guard down and you were able to navigate your way through the NFL, through years of ESPN, even though there's been one or two other allegations about Shannon with women, not this young, but there's a so-called choking incident at ESPN or something like that, that Jason Whitlock talked about if it wasn't ESPN, it was on some network that got settled. But how do you navigate your way all the way up to your 50s and then you get caught in this web by a 21-year-old? What in the world is Shannon thinking? So I have some thoughts on that. I think what happens to many professional athletes as their income increases, their intellectualism, their maturity does not increase at the same rate. So we have these presumptions about athletes that we put them on this pedestal. We look up to them. We forget that they're just human beings. And just because somebody can bounce a basketball or run a football does not mean that they should be your mentor as far as life is concerned, or somebody you should try to look up to. Many of these human beings and these star athletes and entertainers, once you meet them, many times it's a letdown because you have such great and wide expectations of them. They're just humans. But this is a classic case where it shows to me, with Shannon being in the same age group as myself, that Shannon's financial status and his intellectual status and maturity status are not at the same level. It happens to athletes all the time. Just because you see somebody that's an athlete and they're 30 years old or 40 years old, they may have stunted growth from a maturity standpoint where they're stuck at 16. And evidently, I think there's a couple things that Shannon Sharpe found a liking to this young lady. Older guy, younger woman, there's a control factor where you can control and manipulate and kind of mold this young lady. Also, there's a race factor. I think there's a stereotype that white women are much easier to mentally control or mentally to get into believing the things that you say versus black women. That's been an old mantra and stereotype for years, why successful black men end up with white women. So he's got a white woman and she's young. So she's got two pieces there that probably looked appealing to Shannon, where he thought he could completely control this woman. But what he's failing to realize, or he's realizing now, is just because she's 21, it seems like she had an older spirit or level of maturity than Shannon Sharpe, because she caught him in this web by the voice recording on the phone, let alone videotaping one of their acts that's allegedly supposed to be 10 minutes long. And going back to the phone conversation, how did Shannon Sharpe not know that she was recording the conversation with those softball questions? How is he not aware of that? This could not be the first time. So a lot of this video is going to be on Shannon Sharpe. He should have known better in order to do better. When she's giving these softball questions, these leading questions, Shannon Sharpe should have cut the conversation off immediately. Let alone do not go back and forth in text messages, which is a digital footprint, with any kind of explicit conversation about anything. His conversation should have been so short with this young lady that she should have been confused on his answers. And he should have been doing more talking to her in person. It is clear to me that this is a setup, that this was a set that she set him up. Also, him engaging in this whole choking and BDSM kind of behavior. People can do whatever they want in their lifestyles. It's up to them. But here again, optically, a 56-year-old, 6'2", 6'3", ex-football player with a small white female, young white female, the optics on it look terrible. If he engaged in choking and Essex through the back door, that does not look good at all. And when he was saying that in his video that he wants Tony Busby to put the entire 10-minute video out versus a 1 or 2 minute clip, I think that makes, if anybody sees the video and if all of that alleged went on with this BDSM kind of behavior and he's dominating this woman in an aggressive Essex way, that's going to look even worse for Shannon Sharpe. I don't know why he would be saying put the entire video out. He shouldn't even be talking about the video. I don't know what kind of advice or what is going on, but it clearly shows you that these network executives are picking the wrong black folks to be the spokesperson for the black community when it comes to sports, politics, etc. Shannon Sharpe is coming across as a clear dummy. There is no way. I mean, he has children. He shouldn't want any Essex tape out displaying what he does in his bedroom. That is a true sign of immaturity and hubris and just dumbness. That video comes out, that girl, that young lady, the allegations that she's bestowing upon Shannon are going to make Shannon look even worse. It's going to give meat and bones to her storyline. So I don't know what is going on with Shannon Sharpe, let alone that Jason Whitlock has said there was some other allegations. Some other people may come out at some point on this entire Shannon Sharpe thing, but Shannon has to know that here again, being in the entertainment and the football world for many years, this is not the first kind of money grabber to come at him in his life, but it shows you that Shannon Sharpe, his intellectual maturity was stunted. And sometimes, even though a person may be 56, that doesn't mean their maturity level is at 56. Sometimes you have to add the 5 and the 6, and it'll tell you that they are not 56 intellectually or maturity-wise. They're actually 11. That's where Shannon Sharpe is. And to mess up $100 million potential bag that he was going to get, uh, shows you that he was thinking with his small head versus his big head, the head on his shoulders. And I'm surprised if that's the way Shannon has been living his life. I'm surprised it took this long for Shannon to get caught in this kind of web. What do you think? So let's get to Stephen A. Smith. I think Stephen A. Smith, who I do not like, is enjoying every bit of this. No matter what he says, and he said he's talked to the president of ESPN, and Shannon is his brother. But I think his outward appearance and his videos and his comments are not the same as his inward. I think his inward appearance is laughing all the way to the bank. Stephen A. Smith wants to be the top Negro on the mountain by himself. Skip Bayless. Shannon and Skip had a big falling out, and I think Skip is happy about this, even though Skip is caught up in some turmoil. I think that Vlad seemed a little bit jealous of Shannon, based on the movement from the Cat Williams interview in his Shay Shay YouTube channel has been exploding. So I think Vlad is laughing. Stephen A. Smith. I think Marcellus Wiley gives a very good middle-of-the-road commentary that's based on intellectualism and personal interaction and experience with Shannon, and how all this stuff works with these commentators on these sports shows. I like Marcellus. Jason Whitlock. I think he hits the nail on the head, and is calling it as he sees it. Jason and Marcellus, I think, we're not looking for Shannon to go down. I don't think either one of them want to be the head Negro on the mountain top, but I think they're calling it as they see it. In relation to the young lady, I think that she just slick as they come. And I think Shannon let his guard down thinking that she's 21 years old and he knew more about the streets than she does. And what you come to find out is that no, just because she's 21 chronologically, she could be 51 spiritually, streetwise, and Shannon's 56 and should be streetwise, but 56. But streetwise, Shannon is probably 12. I think it's the reverse of the two. Their chronological ages, there's a gap and a difference. She's younger, he's older. But I think their streetwiseness, she's older and he's younger. And I think that's how Shannon got in this, and which has led to this debacle. And if he had $100 million coming, it's going to be gone. The optics on this look terrible. Shannon comparing himself to Jay-Z and saying Tony Busby only wants to go after black entertainers. I think that's a bunch of crap. I think a lawyer in Tony Busby's situation would sue a can of paint. I don't think he gives a crap what color the person is. But so many of these black athletes and entertainers are putting themselves in these positions to get sued. I also don't believe there was a $10 million initial offer. Think about it. A 21-year-old OnlyFans person, not career-oriented in a traditional way, who would turn down $10 million? The only people that turn down $10 million are the ones who already have $50 million or $100 million. Money turns down money. Poverty does not turn down money, let alone 10 million. So I think there's something to that whole initial $10 million offer. I don't think that was out there. I think she would have took that and ran with it. She's going to turn down, she doesn't have $10. She's going to turn down 10 million to possibly get 50 million and then come out with her case before the man even gets to 100 million. So she bit her own hand off. She should have waited until Shannon got the $100 million contract and then sued him. But to me, she should have took the 10 million up front, which I don't think it was being offered. So this is a real interesting scenario. There's Cosby-ish, Bill Cosby-ish elements to it, R. Kelly elements to it. The optics for Shannon look terrible, and I'm not sure he is going to recover. The advertisers are leaving his podcasting show, and this is going to be a tag on Shannon that he will have to carry forever. Shannon Sharpe made a big mistake, and he's got to look in the mirror and live at it. And I think when he looks in the mirror, he slightly sees a dummy. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.